Live the Goals Podcast, episode number 100.
Live the Goals Podcast, your place for motivation, life lessons, and laughter. Don't settle for wandering through a mundane life. Instead, let us help you reach your goals and live a fulfilling life doing what you love. Our guests know what it's like to live with purpose and laugh along the way. Warning, if you're a stick in the mud, you definitely need to stick around. Loosen up your ties, kick off your high heels, and let's get to it with your host, Dale Richardson.
Welcome back to Live the Goals Podcast, friends and family. So happy to have you here with me for this celebration. This is episode 100. So happy that I made it to 100. I know that might sound like a big number to some of you. That might sound like a small number to some of you as well. But hey, look, for me, this is an accomplishment. I'm really excited about the fact that I made it to 100 podcast episodes for Live the Goals Podcast. I started with three numbers, 000, and then 001. So I've got another 899 episodes to go before I need to change this to a 4-digit episode. So friends and family, thank you so much for joining me along the way, joining me for this journey. Haven't missed an episode yet, have gotten close to it a couple times, but it hasn't happened. So I feel really honored and blessed that we're still kicking and doing great here at Live the Goals Podcast. As you know, if you've listened to me, one of the things I advocate is celebrating your successes along the way. Is my ultimate goal to have 100 podcast episodes? No, that's not my ultimate goal, but that is still an accomplishment. It's still an accomplishment to have 100 episodes under my belt. And I have been looking forward to publishing this episode for a while now. And so instead of doing the typical episode this week, I decided what I'd do is what some folks have asked me for. I've had some folks ask me to put together a short lesson on productivity, how you can increase your productivity. And so what I did was I recorded a short lesson, just 5 tips to increasing your productivity. Of course, there are a lot of different things that you can do to increase your productivity, but I wanted to focus on 5 foundational tips to help you increase your productivity. Now, what I did was, because people asked me for this lesson, I created the lesson and then realized, hey, I've got episode 100 coming up. So why don't I just post this episode out there for free on the podcast for everybody to hear? So that's what we've got here. We've got the lesson that I put together, a really short lesson, about 15 minutes, on 5 quick tips to help you increase your productivity. So friends and family, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for continuing to listen to Live the Goals Podcast. I hope that you're subscribing. I hope that you've gone and rated the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever you're using. Please spread the word. If you love the podcast, tell a friend about the podcast. I would love for us to grow our Live the Goals family. And now, friends and family, with no further ado, this is our lesson on 5 quick tips to help you increase your productivity. Hi, friends and family. This is Dale Richardson. I'm a John Maxwell team speaker, trainer, and coach, as well as host of Live the Goals Podcast. What I decided to do was just put together this really short audio to give you 5 tips. That's just 5 quick tips to help you increase your productivity so that you can get more done in your day, so that you can get closer and closer to those meaningful goals that you've set for yourself. So here we go. We're going to run through these pretty quickly. Number 1 is focus. What is your mind focused on? The more laser focused you are on your goals, the easier you'll find it to get up and do what you need to do. So being laser focused is part of what's going to help you in your productivity. Now, that includes quite a few different things. That includes making sure that you're in the right environment. Now, environment has a lot to do with your success as well, and it has a lot to do with your focus. Some people, if you're in a busy, noisy environment, then you're going to find it hard to focus. And some people need a little bit of that background noise so that they can focus and not fall asleep. So it's important to know what environments you work best in. Do you need to turn off the TV and the distractions? Do you need to turn off your phone for a little while? Do you need to get away from people, your friends or your family? A lot of times your family may be some of the people that are the most distracting and making you the least productive because they're keeping you away from what you're supposed to be doing. We also see this when you set goals for losing weight and things of that sort. If you keep a kitchen full of candy and snack foods, then guess what? You're going to eat a lot more candy and snack foods than if you don't. You'll just see that that's what happens. So it's the same thing with your other goals as well. Make sure you set your environment up to help you with your success. And then one last thing about focus, you can block your time. Sometimes there are some activities that you just have to do, but there's something I call time sucks. That means that you get sucked right in, and the next thing you know, it's been hours since you started. And so for those activities, block your time and give yourself a limit. So if you do need to get on Facebook for some reason, or you need to get on email because you've got to respond to emails or things like that, then block your time. Pick a time when you can do that so that it doesn't interrupt the rest of your day. Maybe you pick the middle of the day after you've done your most important task. Maybe you pick at night before you do your planning for the next day so that you can knock it out then, and you know that you've got your bedtime so you can cut it off. Pick whatever works best for you, but it's best if you maybe block that time if you find that it's the type of activity that gets you sucked in for hours and hours and hours, which might mean near bedtime might be the worst time to do that if you know you're not going to be able to cut yourself off. So make sure that you're focused and you're getting rid of the things in your environment that are around you that are stopping you from focusing. So that was number one. Number one is focus. Number two, know your why. Now, if you come to any of my seminars or if you've been to any of my speeches, you know that I speak a lot on knowing your why. And that's important because it helps you focus on the big picture. A lot of times we get into our day-to-day routine and we're just trying to survive and make it to the next day, and we lose sight of what's really important. We lose sight of our motivations. We lose sight of those reasons that we live our life for. So know why it is that you need to get things done. Why is it that you need to make sure that you go to work and have the income and keep the roof over your head? Why is it that you need to make sure that you've got additional savings so that you can build that up and do X, Y, or Z? Why is it that you need to spend a couple extra hours each night working on this project? What's really at the root of what you want to get done? Why do you want to be more productive, right? What's really at the root of that? And that takes a little bit of soul searching, but find out what your why is, because that's going to get you to your motivation, which of course will help motivate you. So finding that why helps you focus on the big picture. It helps you find what your motivation is, and it helps you distinguish between your distractions and your opportunities. Now, earlier I talked about distractions. I was talking about things like TVs, but sometimes there are opportunities that present themselves to us, and some of those are the perfect opportunities to keep us on track to where we want to go that will help us become more productive. But some of those opportunities look that way until you analyze them in light of your why. When you compare it to your why, your big picture, it's easier to see that some of those opportunities are not the road you're supposed to go down. So know your why, because ultimately, if you're going down all the wrong paths, guess what? You're not going to be as productive as you would be if you were on the right path. So number one was focus. Number two was know your why. Number three is have a plan. Now that sounds simple enough. Of course you've got to have a plan, but you won't believe how many times I run across people that have big, gigantic, awesome dreams. They know their whys, but they have no plan. And if they do have a plan, they haven't done one of the main things you need to do before you create your plan, and that is research. Research what people have done that got them to where you're trying to go. Research people who are successful in general. Do your research and then develop your plan based off of that research and your circumstances and experience. Having a plan, make sure in that plan you have your routines in that plan, right? So if you might need to have a morning routine to help you be more productive, include those things in your plan. Like one simple step, because I've done research, I found out how important it is to have water as soon as you wake up in the morning and how that changes the rest of your day and how you'll wake up and be energized way, way, way faster than you will if you don't. And so I've incorporated that into my morning routine. I've also learned how important movement is in the morning, how important gratitude is, meditation or prayer and reflection. So as I did my research, I was able to put more and more items in my plan that helped me stay more productive, that helped keep me focused on the big goal. And speaking of goals, make sure that you've written your goals the right way. So when you write your plan, you're going to include your goal in that plan, of course, because that's what the plan is going to get you to. But you need SMART goals. You need goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. If you got SMART goals, then you'll know if your plan is working. You know if you're getting closer or further away from your goals, and that's going to allow you to revise, adjust, replan, and continue on your path to your goals, and ultimately more productivity. And then a small little tip regarding your plan is, hey, just the common sense stuff of having a to-do list, having planners, having something that keeps you on track each day, where you know what task you need to get done that day to make that day a success. So have your SMART goals, have mini, M-I-N-I, SMART goals as well, smaller ones within the big ones, and have your to-do list. And again, don't forget to research and create your plan based off of that research. So we're talking about the 5 tips to increase your productivity. And so far we've talked about number 1, focus. Number 2, know your why. Number 3, have a plan. And now we're at tip number 4. Tip number 4 is simply take action. Now, what I learned is sometimes some of the most simple advice can be the hardest advice to take. And so none of this works. Of course, you're less productive if you don't take action. So here's what happens. A lot of times you're afraid to take action because you think you might be bad at it. And let me tell you a little secret. You probably will be bad at it. See, none of us are experts when we start. You don't get to become an expert until you do it over and over and over again. And there's been sayings out now that say it takes 10,000 times before you become an expert. But guess what? That's a lot of doing. That's a lot of action. And number 1 through 99 through 999, 9,999, you're not an expert. So you got to take action and just accept the fact that you're going to be bad when you start. But you're going to focus on it. You're going to work on it. You're going to have a plan, and you're going to get better at it. Also, undertake action is celebrate your successes. You've got those SMART goals. You've got those smaller SMART goals. Celebrate. Make sure you are enjoying the ride, the journey to your goal. Nothing helps increase productivity more than being able to celebrate and reward yourself and having those quick little jolts of dopamine and excitement that say, hey, I did it. I know this was a small goal, but I did it and I'm on my way. And I bet you that time you take out to celebrate isn't going to detract from your productivity. In fact, it's going to increase your productivity because you're going to be fired up and ready to celebrate your next success. The third thing under take action is take breaks. Just like I told you to celebrate. As you're working, take breaks, because what research has shown is that we focus more intensely when we work at spurts. So whether it's 25 minutes at a time or 55 minutes at a time, because you know you're going to be taking a short break, you focus intensely on completing that task during that time. And so as you're working throughout the day, take breaks. Take breaks to clear your mind And they don't have to be long breaks. Actually, they probably should be short breaks, but plenty of them. Take a short 5-minute break. Reward yourself for staying on task for those last 45 minutes. But that's just 5 minutes, and then jump back on it. And after you do that a few times, maybe take a longer 10 or 15-minute break. And that doesn't add up to a lot of breaks. But the increased level of focus, intention, intensity, and guess what? Productivity during those short spurts make up more than the time you lose during those short breaks. And the last thing under number 4, take action, is remember that incremental action works exponentially. And what I mean by that is small steps add up to big leaps. And so just keep chipping away. When I say take action, I don't mean you've got to take some big, gigantic action each day. But if you keep taking small steps in that direction, you'll get there. And so it's having the right mindset and understanding that you're chipping away and you're moving and you're on your way there, which is, again, why it's so important to reward yourself, because that goal might be a ways off. That big, gigantic goal, it might take a while to get there. So set those smaller goals and reward yourself throughout the process. So we've done 4 so far, and we're down to our last tip. Tip number 5 on how you can increase your productivity right away. Number 5 is get an accountability partner. I can't stress this one enough. See, what I've learned is that many times we'll do more for other people than we will for ourselves. It's sad but true. So get someone that's going to hold you accountable. Yeah, it's a little scary that you're going to put yourself out there, but that's why it's important to get somebody who is invested in your success and will do so without judgment. That's why I invest in coaches, because I know that the coach is interested in my success without judgment. Now, you don't have to get a coach. I love and I suggest coaches. I believe in coaches. I wouldn't be one if I didn't believe in them. But you can get a coach, you can get a mentor, you can get a friend who maybe will do it with you. But just make sure that whoever you get is somebody who is totally invested 100% in your success and is not going to judge you when maybe you slip and you don't do the things you're supposed to do, but will hold you to task and keep you accountable to get you right back on track and right back in focus, in line, on your plan, taking action for what it is you need to do to be productive and reach your goals. So let's just recap here. I gave you 5 tips to increase your productivity. Tip number 1 was to focus. Make sure you have the right mindset and laser focus on your goal. Tip number 2 was to know your why. Know your motivation. Know what's pushing you and driving you and why you need to succeed. Number 3 is have a plan. Do some research. Understand what it is that's going to get you to where you need to go. Number 4 is simply take action. Understand that you're not going to be great at it when you start, but you'll improve along the way. And last but not least was number 5, get an accountability partner, somebody that's going to hold you accountable, a friend, a mentor, a coach, someone who's not going to judge you for your failures if you fail, or what I like to call lessons rather than failures, for someone who's not going to judge you for that and is going to be 100% invested in your success. So friends and family, I hope you enjoyed these short 5 tips on how you can increase your productivity. Friends and family, are you ready to make your goals a reality? Do you want to learn with like-minded people who are ready to take action and improve their situations just like you? Well, I've learned that no one accomplishes their goals alone. See, the better your team, the better those around you, the more likely you'll reach your goals and reach them faster. And the secret to a great team is a great leader. Well, friends and family, this is your chance to sign up for my next free mastermind class on the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. You'll learn how to be a better leader at home, at work, and in anything you do. Just go to livethegoals.com/free class for more information and to register for free. Well, that's all for today, friends and family. So until next time, remember to set and reach goals that matter.
Thanks for checking out the show today, and make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. We hope you take away something that helps fill your life with purpose and laughter. And make sure you head over to livethegoals.com for more info on guests and resources. Remember to set and reach goals that lead you to a life of purpose and passion.